price didn't go up because of the shortage of parking. It went up because the city and the county sold off all the parking that they previously provided.
Yeah. Well, the fix is in. I guess we didn't miss anything, huh?
Ya ahorita nomás quiero ver el río, ahorita que lo pinte. No, es que nos vamos a perder lo mejor. Ahorita que lo pinte ya no vamos. Tienen que pintar todo esto. Ahorita ya no vamos.
I don't know, maybe you have people in togas for the Ides of March.
Wait, why are these people dressed up?
Where?
In togas, I mean.
No, I'm saying like the whole idea of this bar.
Oh, the bar.
You have a thematic, a different bar fixed, you know, because it would reflect the day's theme. It'd always be the same place, but I think you could draw a crowd if you were in a place of sufficient population to commemorate every single day, you know? Every day is a holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Pi Day would be a little bit lame, but that's okay because you follow it up with the Ides of March and St. Patty's, you know?
You have to like have pretty good costume wear, you know, for all your employees.
Exactly. That would be the start of it, but you'd also want to change the interior every day. You know, it doesn't always have to be dramatic, but...
You know what you could do? If you were sophisticated enough, you could have those, whatchamacallit, those like screens that Bill Gates is supposed to have all over his house as walls, you know, that you can just change electronically.
That would be great. Probably costly, but after you meet with some success, maybe you could transition to that. The other thing would be you'd have a thematic drink menu, you know?
Man, if you could pull it off, it'd be pretty killer. You'd have to charge a premium, though. Metropolitan swank area.
Yeah, not necessarily like upscale, but heavily trafficked. You know, like you could do it in fucking Pittsburgh, but you'd have to do it on that strip on the south side of town that has all the bars because there's always a bar crowd. You know.
Right.
Or like if you did it in Milwaukee, you do it on Brady Street.
Yeah. You want a good, hard-drinking town, hard-drinking crowd.
That's why Milwaukee and Pittsburgh seem like good choices.
You'd probably do it pretty cheap in those places too, relative to...
Real estate isn't outrageous like it is here.
Right. Then once you prove the concept, then maybe you expand.
Another thing I've noticed is like Chicago doesn't really have. I mean, there are spots where I know that there are a lot of bars, and you go to those spots and can walk from bar to bar. But it's not the same as it is in smaller cities where there'll be some areas where virtually every business is a bar and a restaurant. You know?
Right.
I don't think I would ever run a bar though. It just seems like a really difficult business.
Well, I would never really want to run a bar or restaurant at all. But it'd be fun to own them, and like if you could just be involved in an executive capacity.
Well, see, that to me is even worse because their success rate is so much lower than most other lines of business, you know?
Well, that's true. You have to have people you can really trust to do that, to pull it off that way.
I read somewhere that if you look across the country at all the bars and restaurants, at any given time, within a year, half of those will have closed down.
Really?
Not that they'll be empty, but the ownership will have changed because of failure, you know? Go ahead, sure, pass it around. All right. Okay, cool. LA Fitness. Look at all these fucking people. With the green clothes on, the green hats.
And their hidden liquor. Here's the cultural center. This building here, the Millennium, or the Heritage, I think it's called. Yeah. I mean, it's got great views because it's got the cultural center right in front of it. Unobstructed views to the lake, you know. Pretty swank.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Be a great place to get a pied à terre.
What's that, a foot massage?
Oh yeah.
I called them dudes.
But my track goes.
Guys, look up. Oh. Woo! Look how cool that is. See how cool that is? Dude, that's awesome.
Just miss like having the guy I could refer to as my doctor around who would give me horrible advice. You know?
Wait, he's an MD then?
No. But he's got a PhD, so we call him doctor.
Right, right. Wow, they're the cops. Chicago's finest. What?
I'm amazed you said that with a straight face.
I took acting. I don't really understand what's going on. Is it going to come right over here?
Well, not with the floats. This seems to be the direction of the flow.
Oh, wait.
One of my favorite stories about Dr. Mike, I didn't really witness myself, at least not when it was happening, but he's standing in a circle of people in a party at my house. And he's talking to them. In the middle of rambling on with one of his ridiculous, unending stories, blood starts coming out of the pores on his cheeks.
Are you serious?
Deadly serious.
What the hell? What does that mean?
I had a lot to drink that night.
Are you serious?
You want to go? I'll wait for you. I know where they're going. Really a better idea. Let's do that. Hey Sam, we're gonna catch up. You're gonna hit the head.
Yeah, it might be time to move the flask to one of my side pockets.
Easy access, baby. You should tie a green ribbon around your zipper. Put it in your fly.
I think that's what that girl is doing, right? Just like a little green hanky just peeking out. feel like we're part of a parade already.
I feel a little self-conscious about standing this close to all these other people smoking.
We're too drunk to notice.
This is where the fountains used to be.
It just occurred to me thinking about those days. You probably know a whole bunch of new college people who live in the Chicago area who we could hang out with sometime. You'd probably love some of these crazy.
I'm sure I would. Should go on a hike with them.
Yeah. Someone said my name.
I said me.
It is amazing how many people are out for this. It's pretty fun, actually. Where they all at? Should we ask some cops where the parade route is?
I feel like we're still going with the flow.
All right.
Don't you think? I mean, once we get lost. This being Chicago, there'll be no. It's all right. There'll be no deficit of police officers no matter where we go.
Is this it right here?
Yeah, must be.
Walking the other way.
My fans already know that I'm
He's got a flask too. That makes me happy.
Where?
The one with the kid on his head eating the sandwich.
Oh,
He's putting the lid back on.
awesome.
That guy's got so many more worries than we do.
He deserves to drink.
Yeah. I was talking to this friend of mine last week. He pointed something out to me that I lose sight of. Which is that I have so much freedom compared to most people. You too. You know? It's like we're young, well-educated, have some portable credentials that make us employable. And we aren't dedicating all this energy to our families, you know? Like most people our age, they're saddled with a mortgage and kids and all this shit that like makes them have to prioritize entirely different things, and we could prioritize if we chose to, you know?
I agree. I don't think I regret anything right now, anyway.
No, I don't.
It would take some kind of woman to make me have to give it up, anyway.
I can't imagine a woman convincing me to have children.
Well, it'd be easier now than before, anyway. For me, anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I was reticent before.
You're a trousers said, "Let's get wasted." What that meant, though, is that I spent many, many hours sort of hunched over at my cubicle staring at my Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Really?
It's a special level of dorkiness to recognize that, I have to tell you. But anyway, Paula Poundstone was talking about how she was in the airport, O'Hare, I guess. And she was standing in line, you know, a fast food joint in the airport. And she sees this great big TSA guy in his uniform standing in line, waiting for his food too. And he's putting on chapstick. And she says, I thought to myself, boy, I bet he's got a lot of that. Go out with the TSA guy, you don't have to worry about moisturizing your lips. I bet he's got supple lips.
Yeah, I wonder what the real story with her is.
She's weird, that's for sure.
Well, she had that whole thing with her kids or something, right? Yeah.
She was accused of domestic abuse or something.
Well, if NPR is still cool with her, I guess that says something.
I don't know the whole story, but I do think that there is sort of a like mainstream reaction against single women who adopt multiple children, you know, like there's just this knee-jerk response that, well, there must be something wrong with her. She's not interested in men, but wants to have lots of children, you know.
Yeah.
So on at least a completely superficial level, I kind of sympathize with whatever is going on in her life, you know. All right, so this would be the spot, huh?
I think he said this way, right? Towards the Cork and Kerry or something?
He did. He also said between 101st and 107th. So.
That looks like a new structure, but that's a bank building.
I think that we want to cross both streets, though.
Do we?
Well, he said they would all be on the west side.
Oh, I don't remember that much.
Yeah, and he said, like the really good one.
Want to run?
Really good Irish place this way, I guess.
Yeah, I just remember that name. Cork and Kerry, or the Kerry Cork, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Which is clever.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I've been to County Cork. I don't think I've been to Kerry.
I mean, here's an interesting question for you. Since it's St. Patrick's Day and everything, do you, as a man of Irish blood, feel any sort of like inclination or impulse at all to like try and procreate with another Irish woman?
Not even slightly.
No?
When I think about it, on those rare occasions when I think I would like to have children, I always think it would be better to just get as far away from my stock as possible to have children with. solid mix.
Right, right.
You know?
Improve the genome.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
African,
Brazilian.
Southeast Asian, maybe.
Hey, there you go. Maybe we can trade.
See, I think this is why I'm attracted to women with dark curly hair, you know?
Huh. Well, there could be many reasons,
That's true.
but
There could be. And it's about as far away from my hair as you could get, you know?
no, it's true. This is just a totally different feeling than earlier this morning. Kind of would have liked to have checked out their parade.
Yeah,
Maybe next year.
yeah. Although I'm kind of roped into doing this thing with my family every year for that, like,
That week?
prayer weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Because the kids like to go to the St. Patty's Parade in Milwaukee.
Is that when they have it?
Yeah, they always have it the week before.
On the weekend?
Yeah.
It is more family friendly.
Yeah, but it's right downtown, you know? Like, it goes down Wisconsin Avenue. And what I like about it is that I can stand out in front of Moe's Irish Pub and the waitresses, like, come outside and
Bring you beer?
distribute. Yeah, beer. I drink Bloody Marys.
Oh, Guinness or Bloody Caesar.
It starts at like 11 o'clock, though. So for me, that's more like Bloody Mary time.
Bloody Mary time. Yeah. I do appreciate them more now than I did before.
Especially since, I don't know if it's like a pattern or something, but I just frequently find myself with a pretty vicious hangover on that morning when I have to go spend all this time with my parents and the grandkids, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I really am keen to try a Bloody Caesar now, just because, you know, of all the implications in my mind. Not a Caesar, I don't think. I've had like a Bloody Mary with a smoked oyster in it before, but it's not the same, I don't think, as having one mixed with clam juice, you know?
Well, it's usually, whenever I've had a Bloody Caesar or made them myself, it's always
Clamato.
Clamato.
Right.
So it's the same, except there is a little saltiness and like a
Briny.
yeah, a little
Ocean.
bit of a fish flavor to it, but it's subtle, you know.
But it's, that sounds great though.
I much prefer Clamato to regular tomato juice.
So, when you have a Bloody Mary, do you prefer that to a Caesar then?
No, I prefer the Bloody Caesar.
Yeah.
When I make myself a Bloody Mary, if I have it, I'll use Clamato, and I'll muddle the limes and oranges in the bottom, put in hot sauce, Worcestershire, like a bunch of spices, and not much tomato juice. Just splash.
Right.
There is this at Irish Fest in Milwaukee. There's this place that sells Bloody Mollies, which is a Bloody Mary with Jameson's.
Oh yeah.
Vodka. That's good.
I mean, I've had like a Bloody Maria with like tequila. Yeah.
I've never had one of those.
I think I've had that at Longman actually.
I gotta check that out. I like Patron. I think that stuff is delicious. Sipping tequila.
Yeah, I do like my sipping tequila.
I'm not really into doing the whole like Jose Cuervo shit though, you know.
Yeah. You know what is decent?
Salt shot suck.
Oh, lick it, slam it, suck it.
What were you saying?
Oh, just Cuervo. Their 1800 I've found to be pretty tasty.
Oh yeah.
In general. Yeah, that actually you can sip. So, if you're, you know, if that's your only choice and you're keen to have some tequila, it's not a bad choice.
There it is. Cork and carry.
Ah. Excellent. Well, I think you probably need to like go into each one and break it down for yourself. Like, what do they mean to you? What does security mean to you? What does adventure mean to you? And why are they in conflict? Why can't you have both?
The problem is that both seem to me to be routes towards freedom and self-sufficiency, which is, those are both very important to me. You know, security means freedom because, to me, like, security basically means having money, because money gives you this capacity to not have to freak out when something bad happens.
Sure, yeah.
And also to allow you to make choices that are not otherwise available to you. But adventure so frequently involves risk, which can detract from security, you know?
But then I think you need to refine your sense, your own sense, personal sense of security, to include the fact that, you know, you're a very good or a very superior evaluator of risk. Like, you'd make probably a pretty good risk analysis officer for a corporation. So,
It just sounds so dreadful though, don't you think?
well, of course, but it's a really strategically important position for any corporation. And if you think of all of us as living corporations, so to speak, you know, like, we should all be our own risk managers, right? So if you think of yourself as a pretty superior one, all things considered, relatively speaking or whatever, then you should confidently seek adventure no matter what, you know, because you will have evaluated the risks.
Maybe.
At least as good as anybody else out there.
You know, there's a side to it though. It's not a real adventure if there is an uncertainty involved.
Of course, of course. But I'm saying you need to be able to trudge ahead, confident in your own risk analysis capabilities. That's how you need to refine your sense of security, I think, is my suggestion.
Here's a perfect example of my poor ability to evaluate risk.
I wouldn't say so. I've evaluated those risks, and that's why I'm doing it now when I never did before in my life.
All I know is that if you look at the actuarial data tables, people who smoke die sooner.
Yeah, I guess I haven't seen those tables, but I've seen studies that suggest the foundational research against tobacco is not all it's cracked up to be anyway.
I might accept that. I haven't looked at research about the biological science of it. I just know that there is an abundance of data that shows that your life expectancy is shorter if you smoke. You know? And that to me means something.
But it might not mean exactly what they want you to think it means.
Who's they?
Whoever came up with the research and presented it.
I'm just talking about data.
You'd want to apply the trivium, but the data always comes to us in the form of a narrative.
The data does not always come in the form of a narrative. Good data just comes from looking at what happens before the narrative. and then constructing the narrative afterwards.
But a lot of the data that comes to us as the prevailing narratives of society are more or less hearsay.
It may be cherry-picked, but you yourself could accumulate the same data that shows life expectancy is shorter for smokers.
And I could also present anecdotal data, so to speak.
Anecdotal data is worthless.
But that's true to me.
You think
It's as true. It has as much validity as hearsay. More validity than hearsay.
not as much validity as good data analysis, right?
Not if the data is presented in the form of hearsay.
But I'm saying stipulate that it's not.
Well, then, yeah, I would pay attention to it, and I do pay attention.
out there.
I do pay attention to the scientific method when I feel it applies, and it correlates with, my thinking on certain subjects.
You like it. You only are interested in data when it confirms things you already believe. You're just as bad as the people you're railing against.
We all do it. We all do the same thing.
No, but people like me strive to do the opposite. Real statisticians strive to do the opposite. Face east and west. So, what kind of program is that?
Could be they think they're answering to a different order.
No, I mean the kid from Spider-Man.
Oh, sorry. Where is he? Well, spring fever. His mask does not match his costume. Well, I'll say they figured there's going to be plenty of weirdos out today, and just let him do whatever he wants. Let's go that way so we can see maybe how it interacts with the lake. So it should be flowing out, right? Is what you're saying?
Well, it does flow that way, but I think it should flow the lake like it used to.
So it does look less green down there.
Yeah, because this is where they drop the gun. People aren't like idée fixe, They change. Like,
Yes.
That's one of the great things about people is their resiliency and adaptability.
It's the great thing about being alive and not dead.
Yeah.
You can actually change your ways.
But I can kind of see where my mom's coming from because, like, once she decided that my dad was the man for her, that was it, and that can't ever change, Like, that won't ever change in her mind.
I think women are different that way too, though. I kind of feel like my mom feels the same way about my dad.
But I have to say that in my general experience, women are no more committed than men are to relationships. They are every bit as likely to experience a change in their feelings as men are. At least from my casual observation of the opposite sex,
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest, this brings to mind, for me anyway, it's another one of those false dichotomies, male-female. We're a single species.
I think gender is a social construct.
Yes, exactly. It's a fiction of a kind.
It still matters because our expectations about gender are persistent and have big important impacts on people's lives, you know? But it doesn't mean that, like, they're hitting at our true nature.
I should think we're all of us something more than, you know, any single category could express.
Yeah.
So I was on this architectural open house tour. You know, you could just go around and visit all these different buildings. And one of them was that Kemper building,
Oh, yeah.
that very top floor. There's like a deck that they opened up for the first time since the 70s that you can go all the way around, get a 360-degree view of the city.
That's awesome.
You could also go up in like the building right across, that little dome at the top. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We didn't make it in there though.
They do this thing in Milwaukee now annually called Open Door Milwaukee, where all these buildings and businesses and like just places you normally wouldn't get to see behind the scenes, let people explore. Some of it is directed, you know, some of it they have arranged tours and stuff like that. But it's just this one weekend every year. And I think that you would get a big kick out of it if you checked it out with me.
Yeah, sure.
Because you really get to see some amazing shit. And some of the people that you meet while you're doing this, who are there as like guides or just because they take an interest, are extremely knowledgeable about the history of these buildings and the businesses and stuff. And you can talk to them and ask questions and learn a lot of shit, you know?
Right.
Well, one of the things they did this last year was they opened up the top observation deck in the tallest building in Wisconsin, which is used to be the first Wisconsin building. Now I think it's like a U.S. Bank building or something. But it was the first time they'd opened up that observation deck since 9/11, basically.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I mean, you can see most of the city of Milwaukee that you might be interested in, you know? And, like, they used to take field trips up there when I was a kid all the time, you know? Like, just a thing you could go do is go see the city from the observation deck. For fears of terrorism or whatever. And they put these signs on, U.S. Bank signs on the outside of the building that are anchored up there, so they probably don't want people messing with them, you know?
Right.
But, it's really something. You get the kind of real-life view of the city that you can't get. Even from, like, Google Maps or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's 3D and you're alive in it, you know?
I mean, I think you have to take those opportunities when they come, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
But that's kind of what I mean to do with these urban hikes. To sort of flow with ideas in the space, you know?
Yeah, and show, like, the living place.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than a static view of it.
And, you know, the synchronicities hopefully will just happen. They always seem to.
Times I participated in this is that you can go back into the port of Milwaukee, which back before fears of terrorism and whatnot, you could do any time, you know, but now all that shit is locked down. I remember when I was a kid, my parents took us down there just to look at the boats, you know, like these big freighter ships that come into port there. And this boat the crew just invited all these people just hanging out at the docks to come up on the ship and walk around and take a look, you know. And you can see this. These big, like the bellies of the ship. These big, like, vats where they just pour grain, raw grain. Not even containerized.
Really?
Into the ship and take it to India or Pakistan or wherever.
Wherever. Well, we can't get over to the walkway. I bet some of it got into making grain, or I mean alcohol.
Probably.
Great alcohol.
Hey, why? Scared up the homeless guys. Don't be alarmed, all black guys are not the same.
Is this it?
That's the problem. Me and you are more productive than him.
I don't think so.
I just have so much more leverage.
Oh, it's Ohio.
It's literally all about like.
Something garish about that. What is up with that?
This place?
That freaking frog.
Something garish. The whole thing is fucking warranty. Sounds like a gimmick.
Yeah. Sometimes there's no substitute for your unadulterated brand of misanthropy.
You know by looking at the outside of that place that nothing inside is going to be good. Sometimes you can judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, everybody does though. And I agree, everybody deserves it. Do you want to hop in this cab? Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay, I knew you were going to do that. And I meant to say before the situation arose that I'd rather just walk a couple blocks and smoke.
It occurred to me because I saw you lighting up, but I saw the cab and I just had to run.
That's probably our best chance of catching one. Although, we may be getting to that point where people are hunkering down into bars.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might not be so hectic. Just like the dinner hour is sort of passing.
I should think.
I just want to, I don't know. I want everybody I know to be able to just do what they want to do. Without having to convince other people to let them do what they want to do.
No, I totally feel that. I mean, I think I still have that. That's why I really don't feel my age at all, to be honest. Because I still have that sensibility of like a guy who just, yeah, and who really still believes in the possibility, the potential that, you know, everyone could just be living, you know, this different sort of life. That it wouldn't be a big deal, that we all deserve to. And now I'm seeing practically how that might be possible.